Hola clase, I'm uploading a video about reflexive verbs to my website, so hopefully it can help you outside of class if you've had any trouble understanding this concept inside of class. So reflexive verbs are verbs that people do to themselves. So it says right here, reflexive verbs are actions that somebody does to themselves. So an example of this would be, I wash my hands. Clearly hands are part of our body, so we can say we're washing ourselves in a way. The verb for to wash ourselves is lavarse, and we would conjugate this in the yo form and the I form like yo me lavo las manos. Another example might be I shave myself, afeitarse, and again to conjugate it, it would be yo me afeito. Now, the issue with a reflexive verb that can sometimes confuse people is that since it's a verb we do to ourselves, we tend to have a little bit of a difficulty distinguishing it between a verb that can be done to somebody else. So for this example right here, we have lavarse, which means to wash ourselves, but right here we have an example of washing somebody else. This is a picture of my dog Wally. Anyway, in this example it says, yo lavo el perro, wash the dog. And again, because I'm not the dog, this is not a reflexive verb. This is an example of me washing somebody else, washing a dog. As opposed to this example, I wash myself, I wash my hands. Another example might be, yo afeito el gato, I shave the cat. It's Mr. Bigglesworth from Austin Powers. Nonetheless, again, this is an example of me doing an action to somebody else, not myself. So in the example of yo lavo el perro and yo afeito el gato, these are not reflexive verbs. However, in the original examples of I wash my hands, yo me lavo las manos, and I shave myself, yo me afeito, those would be reflexive. Now, when we're talking about reflexive verbs, we need to use our 6 reflexive pronouns. For our 6 reflexive pronouns, we have me, te, se, nos, os, and se. And of course, those correspond to the subject pronouns that we have, me going with yo, te going with tu, se going with el, ella, un, usted, nosotros goes with nos, vosotros, os, and the last se goes with ellos, ellas, ustedes. Now, what we have to distinguish again, one more time, I showed you earlier how afeitarse and afeitar can be a little bit different, but here's what they mean literally. Afeitar on the left here means to shave, whereas afeitarse means to shave oneself. Peinar means to comb, and peinarse means to comb oneself, and despertar means to wake someone up, whereas despertarse means to wake yourself up. You can notice you can have the regular verbs right here. These are all AR verbs. They all look normal. And when they become reflexive, all that happens is that they're still AR verbs right here. However, we add a se at the end. So instead of afeitar, we have afeitarse. Now to form these, it's pretty simple, but it is a 3-step process. So we have to designate what our subject is. In this case, it's yo. Now we have some verbs here, cepillarse. This means to brush ourselves. Step 1 is to get rid of the se. Just move it out of the way for right now. Step 2, we need to get the word cepillar to its root. So we take off the ending. In Spanish, all verbs end in AR, ER, or IR. So you take that off to get the verb to its root. Now, in this case, we've gotten the word cepillar to its root, and we have cepille. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the proper ending. And we can see an example of all AR endings right here. And we have in the yo form o, tu form as. In the LE usted form a, nosotros es amos, vosotros ais, and ellos, ellas, ustedes es an. Perdón. So what we're going to do next is just try and make the right ending. So we have yo as our subject, and when we look at our AR endings, we have o. So what we're going to do is we're going to add o to the mix, and we have cepillo. This sentence right now says I brush. Well, of course, we don't know if we're going to brush a dog, a cat, or someone else. So what we need to do, now that we've gotten cepillo right, is we need to take the se and put it back in the mix. And this verb right here is a conjugated verb. And what we need to do is we need to take the se and put it before the conjugated verb. Now, according to our list from before, we need to check and see which pronoun matches yo. So looking at this list, we can see yo equals me. So going back to our equation, we take the say out one last time and we replace it with the word may. So in this case, we have yo me cepillo. I brushed myself. Now again, for the 3 steps, all we did is we took the original cepillarse, cepillarse right here, and we just took the say off for right now, and we got the word to its root. We conjugated it for the yo form. Notice the O right here is in red, and it matches yo. We put say back in the equation, yo se cepillo, but of course that's not right because we need also the pronoun to match the subject, so we change say to may. And in the end, our phrase should be yo me cepillo. And then we have one more example here. Nosotros en dormirse. So again, what we're going to do, we're going to take the say off, get the word to its root, and then we need to put the proper ending on, which again is dormir, and the nosotros form is dormimos. And then we just take our pronoun for the nosotros form, which again, if you look at this appropriately, it is nos. Bring it back to the equation, and we have right here, nosotros nos dormimos. So again, reflexive verbs are verbs that we do to ourselves. So I could brush my hair, I could shower myself, I could shave my face, or Jose could shave his face, Maria could put on her makeup, or Juan could straighten his hair. As long as it's an action that we're doing to ourselves, it is a reflexive verb. So if you have any more questions, please let me know, and I hope this video helped.